pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as we do each meeting, we just remain standing for a couple of moments and remember the men and women of the armed forces now and before. So, Jason, if you would come up and, are you picking up the sound? Okay. So, tonight, wait a minute, sit down. Sit down. I have a motion to promote Jason Torpy to sergeant. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Lindsay. May I have roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor
Aye.
D'Onofrio?
Aye. All right, now, I have to do that little thing there first. And your three kids, let them, I don't know their names. Dennis, Julia, Jay, come on up. Sorry, I have my back to you.
I never get I never get to play the blue game.
Come on, you're gonna, okay, so tonight we're going to, the Village of Highland Falls is gonna promote our detective. And just a couple of things. He started here 10 years ago, 7 years as a patrolman. That's where you start to learn and pick up valuable information and from your elders, and I know that you did that. The village board promoted you to detective. You've served in that capacity very, very well. Very, very well. I got many, many compliments from residents who you helped, who you solved their cases, and it's just been great to work with you. So tonight, as I said, I'd like to promote you to sergeant. The village board would like to promote you to sergeant. It's well deserved. So I want your children, put this on your daddy's. What's that? All right, turn around here so you get, and put this on your daddy's pocket. That's his new badge.
Give him help there, sir.
All right. What do you want to be when you get older? A police officer. What do you want to be when you get older?
Video game tester.
Video game tester. I didn't even know that was a job. What do you want to be? A teacher. That's great. That's great. Okay. 3 great professions. Thank you. We'll cover that mess.
Can we get the wife in the picture too?
She needs
Jason?
to get in the
Thank
way.
Out this way, Jason.
Can I have my blue game back? I have.
Oh, my God.
Happy graduation.
Thank you very much.
Sit on the floors first.
No, I'm fine.
Excuse me.
So we want to, Doctor, before I'm going to follow the agenda right here, so just before I introduce you, could we open up the public hearing on disillusionment of the police commission? Any comments? You have the times correct, Jan? No public comments. Yeah.
Ned Copold, Highland Falls. Can the board enlighten myself and the other persons what the thinking is behind the necessity to dissolve commission at this particular time?
Number one, there's no, and this really isn't the first thing, but there's no money in the budget for it. Number two, the last police commissioner resigned on March 31. Number three, which is probably one of the most important items, that the county did not recognize this position, the Orange County personnel. They did not recognize the position. Even when it was formed, that village board actually received a letter, but they still went forward and did it. So, and we don't feel that we need a police commission. Livesey is the police commissioner. The village board will take an active role in the police department, as they always have. I always have. And basically, this is the police commission. In fact, he's the police commissioner, but there's two folks that, being they're the negotiators with the police department, Mr. Howard and Mr. Ramus are,
Ms. Murphy.
I'm sorry, Miss
Murphy.
Murphy, I'm sorry, and Mr. Ramus are also part of the police commission. So, I mean, how many police commissioners do we need? You have 5. We only have, I believe, 6 full-time men. If that, I think we have 5. So if it is 5, we have 1 for each guy.
When you mentioned Barbara and Jim as being part of the police commission, not the commission that is being dissolved?
Not the commission that's being dissolved. They're not the commission.
Are they part of the commission
They're-
that is being dissolved?
No, no. They're not part of the commission that's being dissolved.
You had indicated that they are part of a commission.
Well, they're being, just by their duties, they're commissioners. I don't know, that's all I can.
As board members?
Yeah. Anything further?
Orange County gave us their opinion on it. They didn't say you can't do this. It was their opinion. We chose to do it. We did it.
Okay.
Why would there
Ned, do you want to get up to the microphone?
Why would it not be worth considering a continuation of the commission with a broad appointment of not just the new administration and not just the old administration, but persons with significant background and commitment to review going forward police services as they are required in the village
Well-
and in the town.
Well, that's being done on different fronts now. You have the study being done, that most of the money that's being spent in time on that is about the police department. So, I mean, I think that's enough. We don't need, committees on top of committees for the same thing.
No.
But I appreciate your comment.
I would think that the board and the public could be well served by persons who were not appointed for their political positions for or against, but from the standpoint of a recognition that we have had significant issues with regard to police services for a long period of time, and the issues now pending about possible consolidation, and that it might be beneficial to get continued and new information that ultimately this board would make decisions that would be in the best interest
Well,
of the total.
I'm not sure what you mean
community.
by better information. The board is getting the information
But
from a
we
host of areas,
We
from
can learn-
professionals that live in the community that are retired, from the study that's being done, from experts that live here.
How is that communicated to the public?
Well, Ned, I've only been here 1 month today.
I
Give us a little-
understand.
Excuse me, I'm going to answer your question. Give us a little time. Give us a little time.
I'm not criticizing.
Okay, give us a
I'm
little
not-
time.
I'm merely saying that before you kill something, it's good to have something in place to take its place.
And we do.
Just like the geniuses that want to destroy the Affordable Care Act before they have something to replace it.
That's not for me tonight. But we do have people in place. We do have knowledgeable people in place. And I will tell you, my number one responsibility, and I believe the board feels the same way about themselves on being an elected official in the village, my number one concern is public safety. And then everything else branches out from there, very close to number one. I have a lot of number ones, and you can understand that. But public safety is my number one, because the law says that, and I say that. So I don't think we have to worry about the direction of the police department, which is being made public as we put Humpty Dumpty back together again, as some of us refer to. Okay?
If I may, Joe. You know, I just want to say, Ned, too, is the political positions, by
Yeah.
no means is there any political positions. And there's been right now numerous meetings about police. I mean, I've been at the police department. I know all of us have been at the police department. Numerous meetings right now, how we can make this better for the community. And trust me on that, there's been many right now.
Okay. Is there any further comments? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Gina, you have the right time over there. Thank you so much. I want to introduce Dr. Sheboy, who's asked to come tonight, and he asked how much time he had. When you see me looking kind of, that's your time. But no, this is an important subject, and please, come up.
Absolutely. We also have Mr. Kelly and Mr. Copal representing the board. Ms. Kutsaratus is here as well. So,
And we appreciate that.
no, we don't have a quorum. That's not even funny. So first off, thank you to the village board, as well as to the community, for allowing the school district to come again and speak a little bit about the budget and address any questions from the village board. This year's budget preserves our academic program and adds to it one position. That position currently is a K-2 special ed program. Our desire has been, as long as I've been here, which is actually 2 years today, Mr. Mayor, that's my anniversary today too, so happy anniversary, has been to bring back our children so we can educate them here. If they're educable in Highland Falls, we should educate them here. The costs of sending them out are too great. Our budget does reflect an increase of about $1.2 million. $700,000 of that is due to healthcare costs because of negotiated agreements that we have. If you took that $700,000 out of our increase, our budget-to-budget increase would be approximately 1.7%. And that is a very responsible increase. We just don't control that other $700,000. Again, the budget's approximately $29.8 million. It reflects a 4.23% increase budget to budget, yet we were able to bring the levy to where it's only going to increase, and I know, I say only in a community that is taxed heavily, I know that. But it's only increasing by 3.36% year to year. Last year, it was 3.34. So despite the fact we had 27% increase in health costs, we were able to bring that down. That's actually below our allowable levy by about $100,000, $92,000. So we did not go all the way up to our levy. We kept it down to the extent that we could and still offer a program that we need to offer for our children. We've been fortunate, just like the village and the town, that our ERS costs have stabilized and have actually decreased. So have our teacher retirement system costs. They have also stabilized and been responsible for the last couple of years. You never know what happens with that. That's driven by factors in Albany. We continue to receive impact aid, and thank goodness there has been an agreement in Washington that will preserve that for fiscal year 17, and I will continue to advocate in fiscal 18, fiscal 19, 20, until the day I'm not your superintendent anymore for those impact aid funds. It's too important to this district that we get our taxes from the federal government because we don't have a way of taxing that land. We just don't. Our estimated year-to-year tax increase on a house valued at approximately $230,000 is $161. That's the year increase on a house valued at $230,000, $161 for the year, or give or take, I really can't do the math, but let's say it's $15 or $12.50 a month. And I know this community is stressed tax-wise. I know it. That's why I come here today, just to address any questions that the village board may have. I invite the village board certainly to come to any of our meetings. We have our meeting this week on Thursday. Community is certainly welcome to attend that as well. We'll have our budget hearing, and we'll talk about this some more there. So if anybody in the community wants to come out, but I'll take any questions from the village board. I know Charlie's there, so.
I have been sort of hard on you about the
Okay.
increases, but I do want to compliment you. I looked at the ranking for O'Neill, and we are very competitive with the schools across the river. I think we're ranked 67th or 70th in the state.
On the niche list, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is really good. But on other issues, it's nice to say that it's only going up 3.3 something each year, but cumulatively, this adds up to a lot of dollars, and it is impacting our real estate values. The average $200,000 house will increase by $161. What is our dollar tax rate going forward?
I don't have the mill rate. I want to say it's a little bit over $20, Charlie. I just don't have it. Denise will have that on Thursday night. I just don't have it. I apologize.
And then my last question, on the horrific cost of health care.
Yes.
In negotiating contracts, do your employees and teachers pay a percentage?
Yes, actually, our employees, our teachers are among the highest in the county at currently 11.5%. That's what they pay. That is for teachers among the highest in the counties. Our administrators are the highest in the county. Your superintendent is the highest in the county, as well as what their contributions are. There is a level of contribution there. We'd love it to be much higher, especially when years are bad, but that's in the process of negotiations. One thing that a larger district could do is a larger district could go out and shop as self-insured. We can't. We're too small. We're legislatively barred from being self-insured, so we are in a consortium. That's why we don't control those costs at all. School districts pull out of it, and unfortunately that decreases the scale, which means that the cost increases can be relatively larger.
Joe, I fibbed. I have one more question.
No.
That's why I'm here.
I think we were one of only 2 schools in the county that lost state aid. Why did that occur, and what can we do to prevent it from happening again?
Well, we had building aid fall off, which was the big part of why we had the smallest increase in aid. We did get a little bit additional foundation aid, and once the governor's proposal was out, we were looking at a 1.3% increase in aid totally, even though some of our building aid fell off. Once we got a little bit more money in the adopted budget, that went right. We didn't add it to the expenditure side. We took it off the tax levy because we were looking at approximately a 4.3% tax increase. And like I said, we were able to get it down to that 3.36%. We chose not to go to the levy because we understand the fiscal constraints that this community faces that maybe a Marlboro doesn't. Marlboro's a bad example because they had the power plant closing. But maybe other districts don't have that same increase. The other thing I just want to mention, something that we'll talk about, is if our budget does not pass, and I say God forbid, and I know it's a government agency, but I can say God forbid Frank can, maybe the superintendent can't, we would have to cut another $350,000 from our budget.
If you went to austerity.
If we went to austerity. And that's the only way to get that. I used the phrase last year when talking about how to get things into a man. You can't do that picking up nickels on the sidewalk. You can't get to $350,000 by picking up nickels. You really could, but that's a lot of nickels. That's program. That's program. and that, that excellent program. And, I expect that we're going to get some good news from the state about how we've been doing. The past couple of years, we have been showing some market improvement in all of our schools. I expect that the state in this spring will tell us that we're doing pretty good, and I'm proud of that. I just fear that a budget failure would take us back to focus list, to focus school, and none of us want to be there. So
Enrollment with West Point and Garrison is
it's been pretty stable, yes. Yep.
I just want to pick up something that Trustee Murphy spoke about, and that's the decrease, and you answered it, I think, but I did also see this, and see it in the paper. I think it was Minnesink, was the other school, and
Yes.
us.
Yep, building aid.
So that was strictly towards building aid.
Yes, building aid fell off, and you still got to pay your capital projects or your capital off, but the building aid fell off. We hadn't done a project in a number of years, so that aid fell off. If you continue to do projects, you maintain getting aid on that. But Minnesink had the same problem. Now Minnesink just went out with a bond, and hopefully they'll get theirs back up. So
One of the issues that Charlie talked about is real estate. On the other hand, if you don't have a decent school system, you're not going to have people moving here. You're talking about great AP courses, you're talking about excellent college courses, you're talking about Mandarin Chinese, our scores have gone up. What I think that people don't know is that when you save money as a school district, you get punished. You can only put so much away in reserves. It's not like being married and, well, wait a minute. It's not like being married at home and going over the budget or not going over the budget. The other one is your costs. I was at the meeting when you had some ESL, which is extremely important, there's no doubt about it. But when the state says you'll hire 2 more people and you don't have that in your budget, you will hire 2 more people, whether you like it or not.
unfunded mandates.
Special needs kids, the price is gonna go up every single year. And the type of kids that are coming back, you're gonna have to present a different array of services. I think you've done a great job.
I didn't know if Mr. Kutsaratus or Mr. Kelly or Mr. Coppold wanted to say anything on behalf of the board. I am not on the board, I work for the board, so I'll defer.
Thank you.
Thursday night, 7 PM, and if it's okay, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I've got to go finish my gift for
Thank you.
240.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment on agenda items? You have the minutes before you from April the 17th, 2017, April the 18th, 2017, and April the 25th, 2017. If we could approve them.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from April 17th, April 18th, the special board meeting, and April 25th, the special board meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Ramus, second by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next we have on the agenda is the adoption of fiscal year 2018 budget. The board has been working very hard on this. When new board members arrived only a month ago, there was 3 more budget workshops. I think they were good. It brought us up to speed, and I think we found some money that we took out. And before you is the budget, so I'll read it. The adoption of the budget for the fiscal year 2017-2018. Resolved that the annual budget for the Village of Highland Falls for fiscal year 2017-2018 be adopted as follows. A, general fund budget in the amount of $4,976,537. Water fund budget in the amount of $856,000. And C, the sewer fund budget in the amount of $1,142,600. Be it further resolved that water rates shall remain at $88.80 minimum for the first 5,000 gallons and the current rate of $4.63 per 1,000 gallons thereafter. Be it further resolved that the sewer rate shall remain at 185 of the immediate previous water bill. And be it further resolved that the resolution shall take place immediately. So this is the budget. We're under the cap. We're keeping the water rates the same. We're keeping the sewer rates the same. And may I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Murphy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Livesey. May I have roll call?
Trustee Albert?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramos?
Aye.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor DiNapoli?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. We have next the adoption of the investment policy. We've held that over for a couple of weeks until you had time to read it. If there's any questions, if not, we could adopt it. Your pleasure. Any questions on it?
No questions from me.
Can I have an adoption?
So
I'll make the
moved.
motion to adopt the investment policy as written.
Motion by trustee Ramus, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Livesey. May I have roll call?
Trustee Albert?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramos?
Aye.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor DiNapoli?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is a resolution dissolving the police commission. Whereas on June 6, 2016, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls established a separate Board of Police Commissioners by resolution pursuant to its authority under Village Law 3-3082. And whereas the Board of Trustees appreciates the service rendered by the Board of Police Commissioners, but has now determined that it will best serve the health and safety of the village residents to abolish the Board of Police Commissioners. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held on May 1, 2017, at which public hearing the Board of Trustees heard all members of the public wishing to speak on the matter of the Board of Police Commissioners. Now therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the authority vested in the Board of Trustees under Village Law 3-3089, the Board of Trustees hereby abolishes a separate Board of Police Commissioners heretofore established on June 6, 2016. Be it further resolved that each police commissioner appointed to the Board of Police Commissioners and remaining in office at this time is hereby immediately relieved of his or her commission and shall return his or her police commissioner badge to the office of the mayor. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Ramus. May I have roll call?
Trustee Albert?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramos?
Aye.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor DiNapoli?
Aye. Motion carries.
And also, we'd like to really thank those three individuals for their service to the community while they were on.
Absolutely. Next, we have an authorization to sign a Stop DWI enforcement contract. It's addressed to the village board. Orange County Stop DWI requires a board/council resolution authorizing designated official signatures on the Stop DWI enforcement contracts. I am requesting that the board authorize Mayor Joseph D'Onofrio, Deputy Mayor James Ramus, and Detective Jason Torpy to sign DWI contracts for calendar year 2017. Yes. Yes, well, you had done this before, so I understand.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Murphy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have another authorization to sign contracts The Orange County requires a board/council resolution. Authorizing designated official signatures on the FY 216 State Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Program contracts. I am requesting that the board authorize Mayor Joseph D'Onofrio, Deputy Mayor James Ramus, and Detective Jason Torpy to sign these contracts for the calendar year 2016. Is that correct, Gina?
Yes.
They're the federal government's a year behind?
That's the county. Yes.
Okay,
2016.
okay. Okay. It's just a formality, so.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Murphy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next, the Town of Highlands Recreation Department wants to have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament August 5th and 6th with a rain date of August 12th and 13th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So all the proper paperwork, including insurance, I think you have in your packet. I just want to point out the dates, the times, it's 7 in the morning to 7 at night. There will be a DJ. They're requesting 2 police officers patrol the event on and off throughout the day. We will also have people walking around with security shirts. Okay, good. We will have a DJ to provide music at a reasonable level throughout the day. We are requesting that the bleachers by the softball field be brought over in front of the fence by the basketball court for spectators to sit, which DPW can do. We just have to, again, with all their paperwork is in proper condition, we should authorize it.
What about the music fee? The $50? It's good for 6 months if they want to.
You know what? I think I saw, Gina, didn't you ask them for the $50 for the,
I mentioned to Aaron, didn't get a response back.
what is our code on that?
Well, it would be $50 to get live entertainment permit. The previous board has waived that fee for people that do fundraisers, nonprofits. So we should do that if you choose.
I would waive it.
Yeah, I think so.
Second.
So let's waive, let's have a, are you okay, Charlie? Are you
Of
okay?
waiving the fee?
Yeah.
Yes, but I have a technical question. In the absence of the fee, and I'm not pointing at the Recreation Department, but any organization that gets the waiver and has music, and if there is a problem with the volume and the nature of the music being offensive to the surrounding neighbors,
It's happened.
can we have the police shut them down? There's no permit to pull, obviously, but how do we control that?
Well, whether they pay a fee or not, the fee is just for the permit. That doesn't allow them to be a nuisance to the neighbors or to violate any type of noise ordinance that you have. So I think with any event, if it becomes out of control or if there's any damage that's being done of any kind, you have the authority to ask the police to at least warn them, and if it doesn't cease or the volume isn't turned down, to stop the event.
Then I'd like to make the motion that we waive the $50 fee.
I would only note, just if I may, you might want to create a policy about waiving fees rather than doing it, one at a time. In other words, if there's a policy that describes a certain type of event where you're going to waive the fee or not have a fee, a better policy than just someone comes, applies, and you decide at that point whether to waive the fee or not.
Because of the next person that may ask.
Yeah, so we'll look into, I wrote that down. So, are we okay? So we do have a motion by trustee Murphy, and we do have a second by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So they're all set.
Well, that was just for waiving the fee. We still have to vote on the event.
Motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Livesey to allow the event with the proper paperwork here before us. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Let's just remember too, loud kids are happy kids. So,
Loud kids are.
okay.
The kids can be loud.
Figured they just want to have a good time up there.
We have bills and claims for fiscal year 2016, 2017, of $108,186.61. You have those before you. You had a chance to look at them up at the Village Hall.
Mr. Mayor, on the bills and claims, I had suggested in the past, like the town does, if we could give some of the higher-priced items noted in the paper, and if Mary Jane could find room for that, if we could make that part of our procedure in the future, it would be greatly appreciated.
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll, maybe we could start with this, but definitely the next one, for sure. Is that okay with the editor?
I'll usually list like 5 or 6 of the top things.
We good?
Okay, a few comments. We have CHIPS.
Bills and claims. We gotta make a motion.
Oh,
No, we didn't.
Oh, no one did.
We didn't do it yet, sir.
Okay, so I read the amount, $108,186.61. We need to pay them. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, seconded by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, CHIPS money, which is mainly used for doing streets, blacktopping. We have a total of $227,923.80. So the board will be meeting soon with our highway superintendent to decide which streets will be done. I don't think there's been any streets done in a while. I have my list ready, and I think basically we'll probably agree on the streets that need to be done, because it's obvious. So, maybe ride around and look at the streets, and you'll see what you'll see. So we'll talk about that soon. I'd rather get started on this now than wait too long and it's fall. Had a meeting with Central Hudson, which was good. It was about them coming in, putting down new gas lines, and in particular on streets that we're going to do, which I had just mentioned. And some of the streets that they were going to replace with new piping happen to be some of the streets that are probably going to be done. So they'll be working hand in hand with us on getting that done when we do these certain streets. But as we went down the agenda, as some of you know, Central Hudson, which is gas here, also does electric. And so even though we don't have electric here, I asked if we could just stop on that subject for a minute and ask what they do for street lighting in other communities for this LED lighting. And in New Windsor, Central Hudson does provide electric. And they have a program there where they do replace the streetlights. So we talked for a few minutes about that, and when they left, I called up Orange and Rockland. Well, lo and behold, Orange and Rockland has a program, which I won't get into this whole scenario now, but the grant that was on the table when I arrived at Village Hall, I think, maybe Charlie, it was 75, 80,000.
Is this the one through NIPA?
There's a grant to replace the lights.
Well, we had talked about utilizing the NIPA, the New York Power Authority program. And that we pay off the new lights over a 2 to 3 year
Correct.
time frame.
And then we own them.
And then we own
And then
them.
we replace them. So I'm going to have someone from Orange and Rockland because I think this is a much better program where it won't take local tax dollars to make it happen.
I like this.
I saw that, and that is a new wrinkle. It wasn't here
Yeah, I put it
before.
there.
Did you see this?
So I think we should follow up on
I'd like to know what
this.
the savings are, though, because it looked like, they're still collecting their share. I'm not.
But you got to pay for electricity.
Yeah.
No matter whether we own it or they own it.
I'd like to get a
Sure.
real comparison between
Sure.
the two programs.
Sure. Sure.
And there's a limit to how much we can do in any given year on that one.
All right, so I'll follow up on this with all of you, okay?
Mr. Mayor?
Mhm.
May I just interject?
2%. Or
The board did sign an agreement with NIPA back in October, and they did not sign to actually go forward with the program, but there is an agreement in place with NIPA. That needs to be looked at, and once the board makes its decision, you may have to unwind that.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, because I do know there was something signed, but this could, as you just heard, this is a new animal now we have to look at, so I happen to know that attorneys can do anything.
Within the law.
Within the law. You can get us out of that contract. Okay. The water spill, oil spill, I was up there today. It's slow moving. It appears that the oil got very deep into the ground, especially at where it happened. But they're working on it. This is not our cost. This is probably Panco's cost. But there's going to come a time when I'm going to start to want to add up what it has cost the village in the water department's time, in material, any kind of costs that we incurred to keep the pump that's up there, to keep the pump running. And so there could come a time when that cost gets to where we want
I
to
think
do something about
he
it.
ought to start tomorrow on all of that. Yeah.
I'm not going to read the press release. I didn't look at the News of Highlands, but I think you had the police department press release in there, or something similar?
Last week.
Yeah, okay. So maybe some of you saw that, but I want to say thank you to the police department for making this bust happen, and got some folks that, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, but it got some folks off the streets that might be selling, and time will tell. This was a very, very good response by the Highland Falls Police Department. Brian? Have anything? Herb?
I'll make it short.
Okay.
For the buildings, I spoke with Gina. Gina's got a couple issues going on with our building. Outside the police department right now, I'd like to make that more brighter and more inviting.
Outside?
Outside the police department. we got to get a light on that flag outside. For the recreation, I spoke with Aaron about having a meeting with all rec and different organizations like Ann Molina and try to get something together for the children of the community, or perhaps what more we may need for the children of the community. I'd like to focus more on some of the older kids that are out there too, to find out what they're doing, what's good for them, what they want, what we have right now in the community to offer. We spoke about the basketball court up at Roe Park. I'm already looking, I've spoke with Gary today, but I'm going to push the county right now to have that re-blacktopped up there at Roe Park. I want to make it look real professional up there. The kids use that up there a lot. They play a lot of basketball, and I think that's a great thing for the kids up there, so I want that to look ace up there for the kids. I'm pushing to get this as something from the counties. There's a couple counties officials that I'm going to be going after. The DOT for Jim, I spoke to the DOT. I got a great response from them. This is in signage going off north and south on 9W about businesses. I got a great, for us also putting signs up, plus the regular DOT, their signs that they put up for businesses. They seem, they're working with me on this, so that's a great thing. And also inside the village part here too, when you come off where the gas station is here, to sort of attract people to come into Main Street more for the businesses, to offer and show what we have here. For the police department, I have to tell you, things are going great there right now. The morale is up in the police department. Absolutely it is. There's been a lot of meetings. I know all of us have been involved with meetings in the police department, what to do and everything else. A lot of it's been with the dispatch, with the officers. One part I want to go into is the revenue of the police department, because if we're going to have a strong police department, we have to have good revenue to keep that police department strong. I have a meeting this Thursday about the meters and tickets on Main Street, because some of these meters out here, we all know that need some good fixing to figure out what's going on with them. So I'm going to have a meeting on Thursday about that. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Joe.
To the meters?
Yeah.
Well, as I had said to you, that I want the chamber to get involved.
Right.
And right now, there's 134 meters, there's 124 of those, so you're talking less than 134 meters. 124 need lenses so that you can see in there.
Right.
15 are missing, X number can't be fixed, so it's something we have to decide. And I'm hoping you and the committee can come back and recommend something soon.
Right.
I don't think you need but a couple months.
Right.
Come back. If we're going to keep the meters, then let's fix the meters.
Right.
If we're not, if it's, this here is having no meters.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, so
And that's why
let's figure this
Thursday
out.
should be a positive
Let's
meeting.
figure this out and decide what we're going to do.
And in conclusion, a lot of people have asked me, when I was on a town board, I was very involved with the community service in the community. So I went around to see, listen, if I start up this community service in the village, is it going to work? Well, I found about 40 areas where I'm not too sure if I really want to start this again. However, there's a lot of different areas that I was looking at that I said to myself, you know what, this would work great for the community service. So I plan on next week and starting this again. I want to sit down with the judges, talk to the judges about community service, and we'll see how that moves forward. And that's it.
Just 2 points. Good stuff. In front of Village Hall, I had the clerk out there. We were looking at the first floor, which I pass every day, 30 times a day. But I stopped and looked at it the other day. It's pretty bad.
Right.
It needs to be painted.
That's a great thing.
The woodwork, the archway, just the first right now. So, and that'll go along with your lighting. And as far as the young people in town, it was a big part of during our campaign, listening to people and there really isn't, the recreation department does great, you know, for the little guys, to the young kids that are 10, 11, 12. I don't know where it stops, but 12 or 13 to 18 to 17, while some of us could say they should be studying, they still have to have some rec time.
Right.
And so we have to look at that.
That's
And there's
important.
folks out there, Merv, that I'll give you their names that want to help in that age group.
Okay.
Some parents.
Right.
So I think that's important, so thank you.
I just remember something. The center talked about drug and alcohol abuse. So we're looking for Orange County to come down and lend us a hand in there. I also have an article that I picked up north, a place called Chatham, where they have the police now, when families go in, they have a list of where to go for rehab. And now the police are starting to work with families, and they've seen a little decrease in that, and people are more comfortable going into the police station and saying, my kid's got a problem, how can you help me? But I do think that the center is going to ask Orange County to come down and organize a couple of workshops for parents.
Will you let me know when they do that?
Yeah, you will.
Appreciate that.
So you all know, the district attorney's office and the sheriff's department is coming down for a meeting with the public. This will happen very soon, with a date to be announced, and they're going to bring, besides law enforcement, educators with them. They're going to bring folks down that can talk about places where people can go and be to rehabs, and doctors are going to be invited. Sounds similar, Brian, to what you're saying, so I'll give you that date, and I'll also let you know who's coming. It kind of sounds the same thing, but we'll work it out. It needs to be done. Jim?
All right, so I was also up visiting the oil spill site last week, and there was a couple of things that really brought attention to my eyes. Generally speaking, people are going way too fast through there. It's about 1/10 of a mile, so whether you're going 5 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour, you're only going to save about 3 seconds. So I would hope that, you know, those few seconds aren't worth a lifetime of having to relive a tragedy should you hit one of the workers up there. So please slow down, give those guys a break. They're working to fix our water problem. So if you could be conscious of that. You know, and it's not only those guys up there. We got DPW guys here in the village that goes through the same thing. When you see them out there working, they're working on our village, our streets, our sidewalks. Give them a break also. It's improving the beauty in the village and our infrastructure. So with that being said, I had a resident up on West Street today give compliments for some of the pothole repairs, but it seems that some of the debris was left on the street. So maybe they didn't have room on the truck or they didn't pick it up, but maybe we could touch base with Gary's guys tomorrow morning to get up there and clean some of those larger chunks of old asphalt up.
What street?
It was on West Street, for sure.
Okay.
But anywhere else that they were fixing potholes. I know I've seen numerous areas where they were fixing potholes, but up there, I could see the debris on the side of the street when I was just coming down to the meeting.
John, will you relay that to them in the morning, please?
Another thing that's going to be going on out there, I'm going to be going to a coordinated response exercise. This has to do with gas main leaks, electrical wires going down. It's going to be on May 16th, Joe. No charge to the village.
Good.
Another program that I'm probably going to get to, as long as I can get the day off, it's going to be the New York Solar Summit. That's down in the city. Again, no charge to the village. I do this on my own. So I'm going to go down there. I know everybody's talking about sustainable energy, the solar. I have issues with the decommission of them. I just want to make sure it's in place. I don't want to see the panels 20 years from now on the side of the road, like we've seen TVs in the past. To piggyback on some things for the youth to do, Stewart Park and Reserve Coalition, they're having their bike tour. It's a great thing for the kids of all ages. They have 4 different categories. They offer you breakfast, some lunch, T-shirts, local pies, lots of great things out there. Gourmet ice cream, that's mine. But anyway, you bring your bike up there. They have maps set up at Stewart Park. It's a small donation. It's $45 for adults, but children under 12 are free. There'll be guys there that can help you tune up your bike. If you so choose to have one that's not working proper, they will definitely be there to give you a hand. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you would like some more information on this, there's a website. It's bikereg.com/Stewart State Forest Bike Tour. All the money they raise goes to those lands that were saved. It's a little over 6,000 acres of land. It's right here in our backyard. It's a beautiful place. I look forward to seeing some of the kids up there. That's what I got.
Good, thank you.
As the new building department liaison, I met briefly with Bruce Terwilliger, and he is going to give me a report for the next meeting about building permits and what's going on. If people do have questions or complaints that are not specific to their own permit, I would encourage you to contact me versus their office, and maybe I can accumulate a file and discuss it that way. It would be more efficient for them. For the May 13th cleanup of the highway, this is something that the Fort Montgomery Battle Site Association and the Rotary Club are collaborating on. At 8 a.m. in the parking lot across from the Fort Montgomery Post Office, you can collect a vest and gloves and bags for cleaning up the highway. It usually lasts for about 2 hours, and all volunteers are greatly appreciated.
That's great.
And then lastly, I just wanted to alert the board, I would like to request reserving about 25 parking spots out here on the evening of June 3rd for the library event, and I can
That's good.
write that down.
Okay.
That's it.
Follow up on that with Gary or me, or however you want to do it. That's good. Thinking ahead, that's good. Yeah, you're going to need it. Yeah. So June 3rd, you need it.
Correct. From, 6 o'clock
Yeah,
until
so
9.
we'll have to put, okay. Public comment?
Darby Ripa, Highland Falls. Just a question about the wild critters we live with. If a bear is causing a disturbance in your neighborhood, are we supposed to call the police?
Yes.
Okay. Second question. Last spring, and I was glad they did it, 2 police officers dispatched a fox that they thought was rabid on my street. And as I say, a sick animal does need to be put down, but then they left the carcass. Where I grew up, we always called Fish and Wildlife, who came to collect to see what disease was present, because they have to react to it. I would like to know what our policy is and what should have been done. Thank you.
Okay, the policy is, and it will be done, is if, that carcass should not have been left there. We all know that. And the DEC should have been called to come in, whatever I don't know what their policy is. It may be what you said. I'm going to find out. I'll have the police department find out and tell me. But if their policy is to come down, unless someone here knows specifically what their policy is, I'll find out what it is, and that's what we will adhere to from now on. If they take care of it from, when it's an issue and we don't, then they have their own policy. But if you call and our policemen go down there and it has to be put down because it's sick, from then on, the rules have to be, the guidelines have to be followed, and they will be. and I'll find out what they are.
You know, I just want to say something about the bears, and I think Jimmy, my hunting buddy here, will say the same thing. I've seen in the past 2 weeks 3 bears in my area. Do not panic or run when you see these bears. Just walk away. Don't try walking up to them and clicking a picture or a selfie with them or anything like that. Because I'm going to tell you something, they could get aggressive. So the bears are out there right now, and they're all over the place. There's a lot of bears. Just be careful.
There are.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes.
Pat Tagayev, Chamber of Commerce Events Chair. This is about Answer to Cancer, which I'm sure everybody's now heard of is June 10th. However, there's so much to do before then, specifically the 8th and the 9th. I need people to sign up. We need Thursday, June 8th, rest stop assistance, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Rest stop assistance, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Vehicle setup, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, rest stop assistance, venue setup. Is there any way we can get maybe some of the strong high school boys to come out and do this heavy lifting? Because that's what it comes down to. Bike valet in the evening. People are going to want to check in Friday evening, which is to park their bikes, which will be guarded by security guards overnight. But again, as opposed to doing it at 5 a.m. Saturday. We need vehicle setup also.
Can I just, I'm sorry, is this the art?
Answer to cancer.
Answer to Cancer.
This is different than the other one that I had a meeting with. This is this is it.
Yes.
So are you saying that this organization that's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to put this on doesn't do that?
They're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, okay, they are, but go ahead.
No, sponsors are paying the money. Okay, first of all, and yes, I'm asking for volunteers to help. The less money that they have to get sponsors for to pay out is the more money that goes to cancer research, which is immunotherapy, which is what this whole thing is about. So yes, I have been plugging for sponsors, for participants, for volunteers for the last 5 months. So yes, now I'm telling people, not just on the 10th. I need people on the 8th and the 9th. PM me, call me. My phone number is on the access channel. Sign up. We need people.
The high school PE department, they have to do community service. That's part of the mandate.
Yes, I sent everything over to
Honor Society kids have to do it.
Dr. Shaboy. So hopefully we will be pulling in. But also, all you big, strong men, hello. I'm going to do vehicle setup. I'm not telling you right now, I'm not going to be little Miss Prissy. I'm going to be doing it, lifting and toting. Okay, now I am Kat Tagayev, village resident.
And let me just say one more thing about that. Thank you for what you're doing to help them. This is a large effort to raise major money.
Yeah,
For
it is. And
cancer.
actually, are you aware that immunotherapy is now the #1 go-to for lung cancer, fourth stage? So it's making progress. It's unbelievable how many different ones that they're working on. It's not just going for pancreatic or breast or prostate, it's for all of them. For everybody here knows somebody. So
Thank you.
it is important.
Thank you.
This, for all board members, this I took off the Village Code of Ethics. I just want everybody to know and be aware that we are aware of what is and is not allowed. So when it comes to taking votes, people must remember to recuse themselves from votes that they should not be a party to. Also, this...
Well, you sound like you're, you know what, that's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Putting the facts out there, nothing more, nothing
Well,
less.
okay, you say facts, okay.
Well, it's the Village Board of Ethics, Code of Ethics, I should say. This I printed out today. I'm sure...
Let's see.
It's the village website.
Okay.
Okay. This is not the first page. The first page has all of you listed as mayor and board members. Front of that page has Mr.
Got bear
Scott,
information on here.
has Mr. Scott listed as the chief of police, and I think that needs to be updated since he is not the chief, but rather consultant. So I just
Okay.
wanted to put that out there.
You want this back, or?
No, that's okay.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Hi, June Gunza. This is for Trustee Livesey. Since you are the liaison to the Village of Highland Falls Police Department, and I am the liaison to the Town of Highlands Police Department,
You are that, yeah.
I would like to sit down with you and see what we can do to work together.
Sounds good.
Good. I will be giving you a call, and we'll get together and see how the police departments can work on projects or issues together.
I look forward to that.
Thank you.
That's something that is long overdue, so hopefully you guys can make that happen. Anything else? Oh, boy.
My name is Joan
Before you start,
Cronin.
how's the new place? Okay, good.
Wonderful, yeah. I'm here about the senior citizens. We have the building, the village has the building 4 years. We've been waiting for a handicap bathroom. There's money there, Bill Larkin donated. They're sitting on that. There's another grant someplace else. We have nothing. I'm looking around, everyone here, someday you'll be in the position that we're in now. We have nothing. We need a coordinator from, say, 9 to 3 or 9 to 5 every day. We have nothing. They have sometimes 5 or 6 people on bingo on Wednesday or 10 or what. We need a lot of help to seniors. We are the forgotten seniors here, all over the county, all over the state. We go on trips with Woodbury, Sadie Thompson, you all know, she ran Woodbury, and the different, we go on those trips. And the young lady that is we just got from the town, she's making up trips, but we need a lot of help. I'd appreciate it, thank you.
So, Joan, let me address the grants that you speak about. And as far as the coordinator should come through the town board. They need to get that into their budget. So
Yes,
please go to them.
They do.
Okay.
For that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the grants, there's a $50,000 grant from the county. There's a $50,000 grant from DASNIA.
Right.
The $50,000 grant from the county was for a handicap bathroom. The low bid for the handicap bathroom, which shocked me when I got to the Village Hall 1 month ago, is for just shy of $69,000 for one handicap bathroom, for which there is a bathroom now. And if anyone's been in the Knights of Columbus Hall, which is now the senior center, the men's bathroom is larger than most men's bathrooms to begin with. And then the $50,000 from DASNIA, the plan was, since this is only the last 30 days since I've been in office, was to go towards the difference of the first 50. 50, it's $69,000 to do the bathroom. We were going to take the difference from the second 50, and then what was ever remaining from the second 50,000, we were going to look at the air conditioning, look at the heating. Not sure if either one has to be done, but we were going to get folks in there to tell us. It has to be spent on the building, and it will be. Today, I had lunch with county personnel, and they were taken back, as I was, as for the cost of the renovations to the men's bathroom to make it handicapped. And I told them I would follow up with them and the clerk, because again, I think papers have been signed, and I want to see if there's a reason to get out of it and rebid.
Need to.
Well, I feel we need to, but I'm not a construction guy, so what do I know? But just seems high, and they were really taken back by it. They do a lot of handicap bathrooms for a lot communities all over Orange County, and they were taken back by it. So they know more than I know about this. So I'll be talking to the clerk, to our attorney, and the board, and we'll see where we go with it. But you can rest assured it won't sit something is being done as we speak even. So it will get completed, because
And we have
like
no
you,
stove.
like you, I have waited long enough, and the waiting time now is over. So we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Is there any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Don't want to kneel down. Jim Odlin, Highland Falls, Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to echo your comments to Kathy on being our events chairman and helping with the Answer to Cancer. Very important. Any and all volunteers that we can get is just going to help the cause. We're going to have a Chamber of Commerce meeting Thursday, May 11th, 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Bear Mountain Pizza and Cafe over in Fort Montgomery. As usual, everyone's invited to attend that. Merv, if you would like to come, that would be great too. One of the things I want to talk to the chamber about is the whole signage, the meters, those types of things. So we haven't had a meeting since we've been talking about all that. So adding your voice to that would be good. Also like to let everyone know that at the meeting, Assemblyman Skoufis is going to be there. So if you would like to hear what he has to say, any questions that you might have for our state assemblyman, he is going to be our actual guest speaker at the Chamber of Commerce meeting. So I just wanted to make that announcement. And then finally, not regarding the chamber, but regarding the Highland Falls Marina. You all have been on, or some of you have been on some emails going around with that, pushing to have the LA group get their final report to the village board. I'm hoping by the next meeting, so 2 weeks from today. The draft of the final report is out to the advisory council that has been meeting and advising that effort. We're waiting to get some input from them. A couple of you, several of you are on that also, so any input that you might have on that, I'll feed that back to the LA group, and then we'll have a final report for presentation and your consideration for what the next steps are going to be as far as the marina and that effort.
Great.
Okay. And then lastly, as a citizen, I'd like to commend Trustee Murphy, very sensitive about the tax situation, both on the village side and also on the school board. Agree with everything that has been said, and I'm speaking as a resident, agree with everything that has been said in terms of top-notch services, in terms of top-notch education for our students, and realizing that that comes with a price. However, we've got to continue to sharpen the pencil in terms of watching what is done as far as increased taxes. Because if I'm not mistaken, taxes are continually increasing year after year after year. Salaries aren't increasing that much. And so the difference between how much more people are making versus how much more they're paying in taxes, we have to be mindful with that. Okay? Thank you very much.
I guess I want to address this to Mr. Modlin. We, the village, subscribes to almost a daily publication for the Association of Defense Communities, and it tells you what's happening all around the country. And there was something that came up very recently where a defense community, someone outside of a post, was getting a surcharge on sales on that military post. If it involved, yes, this would relate to the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if this is specific or is something that the government is now experimenting with, but where we have a lot of civilian tourists spending money at the visitor center or on post, it would be great if the chamber could explore whether or not some kind of surcharge could be attached to those sales on post that would revert to the community. It's a long shot, but just in case.
If you could send that to me, I don't know necessarily about the Chamber of Commerce, but definitely I would like to look into that and talk to some folks. So let me do some investigating, and then if it looks like it's a Chamber of Commerce thing or if it's more of a village board thing, I could come back and let you all know about that. Okay, thanks.
Any other public comment? Yes.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Minetti, a resident of the village. I'm sorry to come flying in here at the last minute. I've been out of town all day and wanted to make it here tonight. I see the rules, which are wonderful. I would, on the spur of the moment, just dovetail on a topic that Jim Modlin just brought up. As a resident who's paying taxes, I cannot afford for taxes to go up, school or property or whatever, even if it just looks like, $100 a year on school, $100 on taxes. People are moving away because of that, so just a comment on that, because it was spur of the moment. Also, tomorrow, I will be attending a meeting that's sponsored by the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Corporation, and one purpose of the meeting will be to roll out funding opportunities for this year. Then I wrote down my final statement because I want to be mindful and respectful of what and how I say it. I will say, good evening, Mayor D'Onofrio and Board. Mayor D'Onofrio, I ask you to apologize for and recant a statement you made at the board meeting on Monday, April 17th. This statement was made publicly and is now on YouTube for anyone now and in the future who listens to it to hear. I refer to the statement, but it spends village money.
But what?
But it spends village money. The sentence before that was, the EDC is an outside concern. I think that's what I heard. And then there was a pause. This false statement is unjustifiable and unacceptable by any and all means. Its misrepresentation is disparaging in two ways. One, it communicated a false impression of the purpose, authorities, and actions of the Economic Development Corporation. And I will limit it to the committee that I'm the chair of and those who have and are involved in that. The EDC is a non-political, not-for-profit, charitable corporation that was created by the village board to lessen the burdens of government and help make Highland Falls the best it can be. Your statement disparaged the charitable endeavors of the EDC, which has no access, means, or authority to spend village money. Secondly, your statement also disparaged each person who has or does volunteer in this committee of the EDC. It takes a person to spend money, and no EDC volunteer has spent any village money. All EDC members are unpaid volunteers who contribute with dedication simply because they care about Highland Falls and want to help improve it as a neighbor. Your statement disparages the decency of each. Also, this unfounded negativity discourages volunteerism. Due to the nature of social media, the misrepresentation and damage of this claim can be spread indefinitely. What you can do now is make a public apology and then follow up with a written published apology. Thank you very much.
So, I don't think an apology is needed. If one was, certainly I would. I've apologized for a lot of things in my life, some things I didn't even do just to make amends. Number two, I'm not sure what you're referring to. If you're referring to the budget workshop we had, and, okay, if you're referring to any money being spent on this grant to remove paint from brick, is that what you're referring to?
I'm just using
Okay,
your words.
if that's, I'm asking you, is that what you're referring to?
I watched it on TV. I was unable
Okay.
to come.
I believe that what you're, I believe what you're referring to is the grant that EDC has received to take paint off of 8 buildings on Main Street, which is great. But when it comes to that project and all the work that you put into it to get the grant, it's still going to cost the village, it still has cost the village money, in that we had to have the village, the taxpayers' money, part of the grant. We had to spend village taxpayers' money to apply for the grant, i.e. engineering. There could have been other costs. I've only been here 30 days, but I know that. Number two, we have an estimate from the current engineer who's with the village of an estimate of $58,000 to cover engineering costs for that project. That does not mean that I'm against the project. I don't know that anyone up here is against the project, but we don't have that money in the budget. When we stand up here and talk about budgets and we talk about taxes and we talk about, all that stuff, there's I don't know the number of money that's been spent already. It's probably, anything is quite a bit to me. But I do know, and I have a written estimate from the current engineer who helped you get the grant, Mr. Fesco, of $58,000. Could be higher, maybe it's a couple thousand less. He said $58,000. So that's what I was referring to. And as far as volunteers go, there's no one in this room, whether they like me or they don't like me, it doesn't matter to me, no one praises volunteers in this community more than I do. Every volunteer, from a child to some of the older ladies in the garden club, every volunteer, including you. I thank you for getting that grant. I just want everyone to know, and I want the board to know, and I think the board does know, that there's more to this than getting the grant. And I know you know that. But there is village money being spent on this grant. That's all. That's all my point was. No more, no less. I don't know any more or any less than that. So I appreciate you had 4 minutes. I appreciate it. That's what I'll say to you. And I apologize if you took it wrong, but I didn't mean it to be wrong. I meant what I just said is what I meant to say, and I think I actually did say it. If not, I just said it now. Thank you. And I look forward to working with you in the future with more grants.
And
your name, young man?
My name is Anthony, and I just want to make
Anthony?
Palella. My name is Anthony Palella, and I just want to say, kind of going what you said, I would encourage kids to stay local. I wouldn't tell kids to go to college to lessen the burdens on the government, local government. So that's just a statement I wanted to make. So as a community, I would encourage kids to stay local and I wouldn't tell them to go to college. So.
Anthony, we have a problem here. We have a lot of issues that have to be straightened out. I'm going to put this in a nutshell. And you know this because you're old enough and you've lived here all your life. And you've heard it from your family. The village of Highland Falls is right here. We're a mile by a mile. And there's no land. There's no new homes. We have no factories. We have no industry. You go to most communities in Orange County. You go to Chester. You go to Goshen. You go to Florida, New York. Even Pine Island, New Windsor, I could go on and on. They have a tax base. We have no tax base. You know who the tax base is? Your mom and your dad, and all of us up here and everyone else in the audience. And we have to find a way to have a tax base. We got to keep taxes down and find a tax base. And I know of only one way to have a tax base, and that's to get, and I'm going to do it again, that's to get land back from West Point. Then we can have a tax base. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try everything I can to do it again. But I thank you for your concern. Thank you. Is there anyone else, public comment? If not, we'll motion to go into executive session, and then come out and finish our meeting. We will go to the Village Hall for our executive session.
I'll make that.
And we will discuss employment history of a particular person or corporation. And I would ask that Mr. Brady attend our executive session. A motion by Merv and second by Charlie. All in favor? Aye. Those motion.
Aye.
Thank you so much.